Hello everyone, good evening. Futuristic Minds here. Today we are going to do the prelims of the F.A.N.D.O.M quiz. So let's begin with the prelims. So now we will move to some important stuff you should know for playing this quiz. Form link is given in the description below. So you need to click on that link and you need to fill up all the details given there and you need to fill up your answers in that form itself. So number 2, play the quiz as per your own convenience. So this quiz is like that. In YouTube, we are going to ask the questions and you need to fill up the answers in a Google form. So at first, what you can do is that in the YouTube link, you can check this video till the end and then you may note down the answers and later on you may fill up the Google forms accordingly. Or else you can open both the tabs and then you can simultaneously shift from one tab to other and fill up your answers. Number 3, there are 15 questions in total, no negatives, plus 10 for every correct answer. Question number 5, question number 10, question number 15 are start questions which will be used to break the ties. Also, if start questions are equally correct, we would go for the time taken to attempt the quiz. You will be given 30 minutes to fill in all the answers. The time is included with the video length too. So all the best everyone, let's start with the very first question of this quiz. Question number 1. This fictional character's name is a portmanteau of two words, the first being the sound of an electric spark and the second being the sound made by a mouse. So which fictional character among popular culture is this? So when you were a child, that time you might have been a fan of this particular fictional character too. Everyone has come across this. So please name this character. Very easy question. Then we would like to move to the second question. The Brexit vote was conducted on 24 June 2016, which was also the 21st anniversary of the dark event. So, Brexit activists had to wait for months before they could successfully obtain the return of the UK to its pure and non-EU form. So, which is thematically similar to this earlier event. Many on Twitter noticed the similarities between both of these events. So, which is the earlier event that is being talked about? So, this event is very popular in fiction. So, it's a tragic event that occurred in a very famous piece of literature. So, just name this, very similar to this situation. Question number 3. X's are small, crested black birds that have strong memory that were also used by authorities to spy on rebels. But the rebels discovered their purpose, and hence the authorities abandoned the X's in wilderness where they were expected to die because they were exclusively male and had no partner to reproduce. However, they bred with the female Ys and they created a new hybrid species, the Z. Z is a portmanteau of the words X and Y. So identify all of these above. So mainly we need Z, but however, if you know the Z, you will obviously know the X and Y. So you need to identify all of them. Then question number 4 is the name of which iconic character from fiction was so bestowed by the author since she thought that the name was one which it had fallen out of popularity for decades. The character was inspired by behemoths of English literature like Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice and Gilbert Blythe from the Anne of Green Gables series. So which extremely popular character of the 2010s are we talking about? So let's move to the next question. These are a few choice selections from a thus far exclusive list that's getting longer with each passing year. So we are looking for a very specific connection. So these sentences are like this. Garlic gum is not funny. They are laughing at me, not with me. Tar is not a plaything. Spitwads are not free speech. Nobody likes sunburned slappers. Underwear should be worn on the inside. The Christmas pageant does not stink. Funny noises are not funny. So how are these sentences connected to a very popular fandom which had been running since many decades? So you need to identify what is the specific connection. We are looking for a very specific connection. So now we are going to the next question. A no-cost cosplay of the character who first appeared on television in 1999. A self-proclaimed expert in the art of doing nothing. So identify this very popular character in cartoons. You can see the image given and you will obviously know what character it is. X, Y's first novel, broke into the New York Times bestsellers list in the concern category over 7 years after it was published in 2005. X derives deeply from Y's own experiences while attending high school in Birmingham, Alabama. Alabama is a hint in this question. A film adaptation of X has been in the offing for a while, especially owing it to how it could follow up Z, Y's sixth novel that has been made into a very successful and eponymously titled feature film. Its title having been derived from a tragic work of drama. So one of the words in X is same as one representing an entity that is the 49th and penultimate entry into a list, also being over 6 lakh square miles in the area. So identify X, Y and Z. If you know X, then you will know everything. So now we will go to question number 8. So what is this exhaustive list all about? Jessica Ann Dean, Sean P.F. Harris, then Jill Prewitt and Anne Keeley, then Peter Ronald Ridley and Susan Sladen, then Dr. Neil Murray, Jessica David, then Mackenzie Zine, and then Neil, Jessica David, Mackenzie Dean, Anne, and you. So there is a specific connection among all these names, so you need to identify. Just look at the number, how many are there, so you will get the connection to a very famous entity. Jim Hamilton, a researcher, said in response to a query, it would depend on the surface you hit. Maybe if you hit a rocky beach, people who fall into meadows or marshes or sand leave a human-shaped impression on the ground. They almost tend to bounce sometimes. I would think that would be more likely than breaking apart. So what was the query asked to Jim about a very particular popular culture thing that is being asked by many of the fandoms out there? So what is Jim responding to? Just say the question. So in 2007, two hikers found a human torso and two thighs in the Duden Park in St. Gilles, Belgium. Police later determined the parts came from a Caucasian male individual who was killed several days earlier and disposed of in the park at around noon on the day the parts were found. No identification or personal artifacts were found on the body parts, but two pieces of paper were found nearby with the same message in Roman capital letters. Watashiwa des. So you need to fill in the blanks. The police also discovered a trail left by the suspects in the form of a 50-meter line of rice that led to a symbol drawn in the vegetation. So fill in the blanks with that one word name that drew worldwide attention when it was released. It's a very simple question, very short word. It is very popular in some cultures. So you need to identify that word. So just attaching the pictures. So you will just look at the sentence Watashi wa dash des. So you will ultimately know what we are talking about. Then in question number 11, the novel Anansi Boys that deals with the death of Mr. Nancy and how his two sons discover each other and explore their common heritage. The short story The Monarch of the Glen, first published in a short story collection called Legends 2 that takes place in Scotland. The short story Black Dog, published in a short story collection called Trigger Warning that takes place in Derbyshire's Peaks district. All these works are set in the same universe, which was set up in a seminal piece of literature, X by Y. The author Y is one of the most beloved authors in the world. According to Vulture, Y has the 18th most dedicated fandom in the world. So X is the name of the author and Y is the name of his very popular novel. So you need to identify both X and Y. So another important thing I would like to add here, if you fail to answer any of the questions, like if you are able to answer Y but not X, then you won't get any points. Since it is a prelims, we are giving some hard rules here. So let's move on to the next question here, keeping the rules in mind. Question number 12. Sometimes authors get their inspiration straight out of their real life experiences, and sometimes they don't. In X's case, her book Y was actually inspired by her happy, functional relationship with her husband. X's favorite book happens to be Deep Water by Patricia Highsmith, the original queen of creating psychopathic, sociopathic mystery characters. X truly is the anti-protagonist from Y. Not only is she happily married, but when she was dealt her own layoff from a magazine, her life almost immediately took a positive turn. Within 4 years, she had written and published Y, crafted a screenplay based on the book, and had her first child. So name X and Y. Very simple question. Just keep the word sociopathic mystery in mind, and then you will know what the answer is. Question number 13. In 1952, X, now considered one of the greatest and most influential filmmakers of our time, worked as the second unit director on one of the episodes of the series Omnibus, but it was a different episode about poker players getting into a fight that inspired parts of the movie Y, based on the 1977 bestseller of the same name. According to X, you think the point of the story is that his death was inevitable because a paranoid poker player would ultimately get involved in a fatal gunfight. But in the end, you will find out that the man he accused was actually cheating him. I think why uses a similar kind of psychological misdirection to forestall the realization that the supernatural events are actually happening. So ID X and Y. Here in this question, supernatural events is a hint. So we can move to the next question. Question number 14 is a very simple question. So connect all of these images given. So there is a particular connection to an extremely famous fandom. So look at the word calculus, the same font is used there. So in this popular culture, the same kind of font is used in the name of the title. Okay, so we can move to the next question. Only two guys do a dash. One dash at a time. Fellas, no shirts, no shoes. Dash will go on as long as they have to. If this is your first night at X, you have to dash. So these are the rules for what? Just simply ID X. So it is something, a community of people, not exactly community, but a group of people. So what is this known? Very popular culture. A film is also there, also a book.